I've built a single-walled boat before. But it was semicircular and you got to have some sort of strengthening across the top. What we're going to do though, I'm assuming you're going to have quite a few people in this boat. Let's go ahead and put a third wall on and make a nice sandwich. So inside the wall you just built, we're going to build a replica of our outer wall. Remember to stagger your seams and put a third layer on the inside. So you've got 3 layers thick. 2 of them will be sitting on the wall. This outer layer goes around the wall and forms your boat shape. So go ahead and do that the same way we just did. Remember to stagger your seams. I've said that twice now because it's really important. As soon as that dries, we're going to add some reinforcement here across the top, because you basically you've got a keel down here from your 3-ply to resist any bending this way. But it's going to bend if these walls buckle. And so we have to keep these walls in this shape. Otherwise, if these things start to, wiggle at all, this could really just snap right in half on you, and we don't want that. So I'm going to show you a few ways to mitigate that problem. So to get around the strength problem, we need essentially a waistband. We need a belt on our boat to hold everything in place. You're probably not going to need the entire 12-foot length of this boat. In fact, you really can't fit anyone except maybe a lawn gnome in the tips. So the easiest way to do this is to add some bulkheads. Pick a spot inside here, the middle, where you can reliably say that no one is ever going to comfortably be able to fit outside of. So we're going to make a cockpit section inside our boat. Well, this is a great spot. We're going to add some bulkheads. Figure out where that spot is. Measure the width. Measure the height that you have up to your wall. Cut out a cardboard piece. Let's go ahead and make a 3-ply sandwich. So we're going to make some bulkheads here. Let's go ahead and make 3-ply sandwiches again. The stress that we're encountering here is walls trying to go this direction. So the grain for these needs to run across the boat. I would also recommend going ahead and putting in intermediate ones. These can be single layers thick. Make sure the grain, of course, still runs across the boat. All your bulkhead grains are going to run across the boat. There's no other way to do it. Add a few additional reinforcements if you want. Usually I end up building a cockpit section that is 4 to 5 feet long, maybe 6 feet this year. I don't know yet. Then just put another bulkhead midway between, whatever's left and where your first bulkhead is. Then we just got to do something about this center section here, because all we've got is a 3-ply wall. That's not going to be super stable. This is going to help. It's going to still try to shimmy a little bit on you. And at the very least, it's going to be kind of sharp. One thing that's pretty easy to do is to just kind of cap it off. Let's first go ahead and cut a couple of thin strips to reinforce this. You almost want this section here to be a handle. Let's take a couple strips, cut them fairly thin. This one, is 2 inches wide by whatever length you need. Cut a couple of these, let's say 2 per side. So you're going to cut 4 additional of these strips, and we're going to lay them inside, glue them on the upper edge of our boat here. So if we look at the boat from the side, we've got our bulkheads running that way, and we're going to glue them right in here. Glue them on the inside of the boat if you have room. If you don't, you can glue them on the outside of the boat. It's really not a problem. The water will never be up here. We're going to varnish it over anyway in a second. So glue them right up in there to beef that up. Go thicker if you need to. My goodness, you can have up to 7 or 9 layers thick if you feel that that's what you need. You just want it to feel if somebody were to grab onto the boat, and they're going to do this, if they were to grab onto it and try to lift themselves up out of the boat while trying to push it on it because they need something to push off of, if you feel like that's going to buckle, beef it up. Add another layer or 2. You're left looking down on the end of a bunch of cardboard. So we should probably cap that off. In fact, we need to cap off the whole thing. This is only a 3-layer sandwich down here in these ends. So all we're going to do there is smear construction adhesive around the ends there. That'll caulk the seams very nicely, and it'll hold the plies all together. So we're going to do that, smear it in there, just squirt it, finger all the way around. Here, you can get away with smearing construction adhesive, all through here. It'll look fine, really. It's just a cardboard boat. What I would recommend doing here, maybe just so it looks a little bit nicer, is use what cardboard you have left. Flip this boat upside down. trace around its edge, go ahead, cut that piece out, then offset, measure whatever thickness of the wall you have up here. So you know you've got a few extra plies. You've got this piece now that you cut out that looks like your center section. Measure whatever thickness you have here, and then offset that like that, and cut out these pieces. So now you have some nice cap strips to glue down on top, so that you're looking at a nice flat sheet of cardboard instead of a caulked bunch of edges like this. That right there will give you a nice solid boat. One extra step I would recommend is go ahead and put a panel on top of this here and this here. The reason for that is, of course, you've now created a watertight section and your bulkheads go all the way to the top. So if you hit an iceberg, you should be okay. It also prevents other people from shoveling water or something, or if you happen to catch a big wave and you eat some water there. So cap those off if you can. I always do. I don't use duct tape at all because I find if it gets hot, it loses its tackiness and can just peel right off. It also doesn't look very good. When you varnish a boat and paint it, it almost looks like fiberglass. So a strand of duct tape here or there would kind of ruin the whole effect. That's all you do to build a simple cardboard boat. In another video here, I'll show you how we get a little bit more complicated. We'll optimize the weight a little bit and do a little bit heavier design. But this boat will certainly beat the pants off most other boats you're going to see out there. Unless somebody has watched my advanced design video and done it that way, this boat will almost guarantee you victory, provided you don't fall out. I definitely recommend you practice with it just a little bit, stick it in a pool or something. If you find that you need outriggers because you just for some reason can't seem to maintain balance, outriggers are easy to add at this point because now you've got a nice flat top surface to mount a beam to. I'll get into outriggers in another video. I don't recommend using them if you don't have to because that's extra drag in the water, but the stability and peace of mind they provide really can be helpful. And thus far I've used them on the majority of my races just because the first time I raced, I fell out of my boat, even though it had an outrigger. It was really funny. I think there's a video online maybe, or a picture at least. But yeah, I fell out on the opposite side of the outrigger because I was sitting too high and got a little overzealous. I ended up winning after crawling back in the boat. Well, that's really all there is to it. I hope this helps explain things a decent bit. Definitely ask questions. Send me an email, leave a comment if you have any additional questions. I didn't explain something super clearly. But this boat is the simplest of the fast type of boats that you could possibly build. But thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and good luck.